Okay, so today I'm going to read about matrix exponential. So matrix exponential, I'll be honestly saying you that this particular term will pop out of nowhere. So you will not be able to find any relationship uh, behind between your previous whatever you have read and what you are going to read today. Okay, so this is a kind of abrupt and abruptly a new concept has been introduced. You will feel something like that. Okay, and it's absolutely okay with that. So initially, I also thought little abrupt, but later on, I thought that okay, this is what is required. Other things are not required, so it's fine. So the matrix exponential is a particular term that comes very commonly within linear differentiation of equations that we have been reading, and we need to find a better way to solve it and get its value. Okay, so the matrix exponential is actually e to the power at. Okay, e to the power at, where a is a matrix. Okay, this is a matrix. Okay, so as you can see, this is a weird kind of little weird kind of uh, an exponential raised to the power of a matrix multiplied by a scalar. So it looks very intimidating and dangerous. It is actually, because we have never raised something to the power of an matrix. Okay, but we will find out a more simpler method to solve this, so that this one, even if it looks intimidating, we can have a simpler solution of this. So as you have noticed, maybe that everything that we are trying to read here is to objective is to find a simpler solution, right? To find a simpler way to solve it. Okay, so mathematics is basically that thing, right? So it is not a concept. It is not something tangible like physics or say data science even. It is something which is used as a tool, right? So we have to keep our patience there. That it is a tool, and this tool is helpful in solving a lot of things, right? So this e to the power at is also like a tool. It will be helpful in solving a lot of things, but it looks little intimidating because of the matrix power. But we will try to solve it in easier way. Okay. So whenever a equation looks intimidating, so what do? We try to generalize it, and the generalization is Taylor expansion. If you do a Taylor expansion of this, it will be something like this. Okay. Okay. So if you try to generalize this, this will be a kind of a Taylor expansion. Okay. So this is what we normally do whenever we have an equation and that equation looks intimidating, dangerous. And what do? We try to approximate it in a very generic term, and hence there comes the Taylor expansion. Okay. So this is the Taylor expansion of the matrix exponential. So remember, this whole term is called the matrix exponential. Okay, this whole term is known as the matrix exponential. Okay, and the expansion of the matrix exponential is called the Taylor expansion of matrix exponential. Taylor expansion of matrix exponential. Okay, so this is matrix exponential, and this is the Taylor expansion of matrix exponential. So I can put equal to in between both of them because they actually kind of represent the same thing but in two different formats. So this one I can write in a short form or in a compact form as sigma I is equal to 0 to infinity a to the power I t to the power I by I factorial. Okay, this I can write in a compact form. Okay. Okay. Now raising a number to the power of a matrix may not uh, have a definite meaning, but just remember this is a compact form of the infinite series. Okay. So raising a number to the matrix, as I said, it is dropping out of nowhere. You did not read anything related to this before, but suddenly this thing has come up. So without raising doubts, rather accept it as a whole and let's focus on how to simplify this. Okay. Let's do that. Okay. Now, uh, so if you remember, uh, so we had our so it is a function of time, right? Matrix exponential is a function of time. So e to the power at, right, is a function of time, right? So if you remember our difference equation, okay, uk is equal to a to the power k into c0, right? This was our difference equation, right? And we could write uk is equal to a in place of a, I could write p d to the power k and p inverse c0, okay? As a to the power k can be represented as p to the power k p inverse, right? This is the matrix eigen decomposition of A, and it is only possible when all the eigenvectors of A are independent. Okay, and then if you remember the C0, we could write the C0 as P into uh, not C0. This was U0. We could write this U0 as P into C0. This PP got cancelled, and UK was equal to P d to the power K into C0. Okay, this was the difference equation. These are the theories. I hope you guys are able to recall. So if you did not, then you have to revise the difference equation and come back here. The difference equation is UK was a to the power k into u0, and then a to the power k can be done a diagonal eigenvalue decomposition, and then to the power k raised is to the power k, and then u0 can be represented as p c0, and then ultimately this. Okay, so similarly, like a to the power k could be represented as p to the power k p inverse. We can also write e to the power at is equal to p into e to the power dt p inverse. Okay, it's not the same thing, but I'm just trying to give you a idea, right? So a to the power k was how much? Is p into p d to the power k and p inverse. Okay, so there is a similarity, right? So pp is same, pp inverse is same, then e to the power at is there, then e to the power dt is there, a to the power k is there, d to the power k is there. Okay, so not the same thing, but it is similar. Okay, so this will help you remember it easily. So if you remember the matrix eigenvalue decomposition, then it will be easy for you to remember this. Now we have to prove this, right? We have not yet proven. Okay, this is proved. This is proved earlier. Okay, but this is yet to be proven. Okay, so let's prove this. Let's prove this first. Okay, how did it happen? Okay, now the Taylor expansion wise will let us write it is where AT is equal to I in plus AT plus A square T square plus 2 factorial plus dot 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 a to the power n t to the power n factorial. Okay, now assuming that A, this A matrix is having all the eigenvectors as independent. Okay, assuming that, I can write this as P into P inverse plus PD P inverse into T plus PD square P inverse T square by 2 factorial. Okay, plus dot 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 dot. I can write. Okay, I am just replacing all the A's with PD P inverse. Since I am assuming that all the eigenvectors of A are independent, so this decomposition is possible. And when raised to the power 2 or 3, whatever, it is taking this form. This one also, we have seen how it happens. Okay. So I can take a P common here. If I take a P common here, then I have I plus dt, okay, plus t square by 2 factorial plus dot 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 like this into P inverse. Okay. So I took out the P and the P inverse. Okay. From every equation. From every term I took out P and P inverse. And what remains? This one remains. Okay. Now what is this? If you compare this one with this one, if you compare this with this, it looks similar, right? Just in place of A, here it is D. Just in place of A, here it is D. I can write this as P e to the power dt into P inverse, right? So e to the power at is equal to this. Okay, got it? The first step was do the Taylor expansion of e to the power at and then decompose A, eigen decompose A to P in P d P inverse. Then apply the power theorem that if you raise a matrix by a power, then its diagonal just increases by its power. So that one is applied here. And take out P and P inverse out. Whatever remains is again the Taylor expansion of e to the power dt. If you replace there, then you can write that e to the power at is equal to P into d to the power dt, e into d to the power dt plus P inverse. So this is the eigen decomposition of the matrix exponential. The eigen decomposition of the matrix exponential. Okay. So why? Because we can express e to the power at completely in terms of the eigenvectors and eigenvalues. Okay? P is what? A matrix of eigenvectors and D is a diagonal matrix of eigenvalues. We are expressing a matrix exponential purely in terms of its eigenvectors and eigenvalues with the eigenvalue decomposition of the matrix exponential. Now what is remaining here to simplify? P is simple. P is all the eigenvectors of A stacked horizontally and P inverse is the inverse of that matrix. So only term which is still intimidating is this one, e to the power dt. Okay, e to the power dt is still intimidating, which is looking dangerous. So can you simplify that more? Okay. So until now, what we know that e to the power at is equal to p into e to the power dt p inverse. Okay, this one we know. Trying to solve this e to the power dt. Okay. So suppose, for example, A is a 2 cross 2 matrix. If A is a 2 cross 2 matrix, then there will be two eigenvalues, two independent eigenvalues will be there. So let's say D is that. This is the diagonal matrix of eigenvalues, right? So lambda 1, 0, 0, lambda 2. Say, for example, D is this. Now, we took an example where D is 2 by A is 2 by 2. We can also take an example where A is n by n, then it will be an n by n matrix. Okay, just to prove. Okay, so this Taylor expansion of e to the power dt, which is equals to I plus dt plus d square by 2 factorial plus dn by n factorial. This was the Taylor expansion of e to the power dt, right? Now let us substitute this d everywhere. Okay, let us substitute this d everywhere. So what will happen? This is I 1001. This is dt. So dt will become what? Lambda 1 t 00 lambda 2 t. Okay. What will be this? If I take out 1 by 2 factorial outside, then it is d square. Okay. What is d square? D square is just lambda 1 square lambda 2 square. So lambda 1 square t 00 lambda 2 square t. Okay. And like this it goes on. Okay. Till 1 by n factorial into lambda 1 to the power nt 00 lambda 2 to the power nt. Okay. So this, we just replace the d with this assumption that we have taken. Now if we add all those matrices, if I add all these matrices, what will I get? What will I get? I'll get here a term as 1 plus lambda 1 t plus lambda 1 square t square by 2 factorial plus dot lambda 1 n by to the power n by n factorial, and this one is 0, this one is 0. Similarly here again 1 plus lambda 2 t plus lambda 2 square t square by 2 factorial plus dot lambda 2 square 2n to the power n by n factorial. Okay, so what will happen? I just added all the matrices. So all the matrices have this one 0, this one 0, this one 0, this one 0, this one 0. So these two will be 0. Okay, so what will happen? Only all the numbers in this 1 comma 1 position will get added. 1 plus lambda 1 t plus lambda 1 square t lambda 1 square t square by 2 factorial. Similarly, lambda 1 to the power n t to the power n by 2 n factorial. Okay, this is one part, and similarly this one part. Now what can I write in place of this? Equation looks very familiar, right? This looks very familiar. It is like almost like the Taylor expansion of e to the power at. But here there is, instead of a, here is lambda 1. Okay, and here instead of a, it is lambda 2. Otherwise everything is same. It is just the scalar form of the Taylor expansion. So in place of this I can write e to the power lambda 1 t, and in place of this one I can write e to the power lambda 2 t. Okay, so that means what? My e to the power dt can be written as e to the power lambda 1 t 0 0 and e to the power lambda 2 t. Okay, so this is my e to the power dt. So now it becomes very simple. Now raising a number to a matrix has changed into raising a number to a scalar value. Okay, which is pretty easy to calculate. So now e to the power at will be p into this one into p inverse, right? E to the power at is equal to p into e to the power dt p inverse, right? And e to the power dt is this one. So P into it by dt P inverse. Okay. So this is the what do you call it? Matrix exponential simplification of the matrix exponential. Okay. So here remember this is lambda 1, lambda 2 because we have assumed that A is of uh, is a 2 by 2 matrix. If A is a n by n matrix, then this one will be also lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3, lambda n will be there. Okay. Because if all the eigenvectors are independent, then it is definite that all the eigenvalues are also distinct. Okay, remember that theorem. Okay, so this is the matrix exponential of a matrix A. So in general form, what it will be, e to the power at is equal to p into e to the power lambda 1 t, e to the power lambda 2 t, e to the power lambda n t. Okay, this is 0, this is 0, and p inverse. Okay, so this will be the final simplification of the matrix exponential. Okay, so this is what we need. So how we will solve it then? Whenever you get a e to the power at term, first calculate the eigenvectors and eigenvalues of A. Once you get the eigenvectors, you can calculate P. Then you can calculate P inverse also. And then using the eigenvalues, you can calculate this middle matrix also. Okay. And then you multiply all of them together, you get the matrix exponential simplification. Okay. Any questions, anybody?
Vishwa, I have a question.
Yeah, tell me, ask me.
Yeah, this matrix exponential, how it will be useful, like any example
It will be
from your
useful
end?
in solving integrals, matrix differentiation, differentials. We are starting matrix differentials, right? So, in during solving matrix differentials, there will be many situations where you will encounter this term e to the power at. So, before you encounter that, we have given you a simplification of that. Okay. So, instead of scratching your head like how do I solve a equation like e to the power at, we have given you a easy option.
Okay, understood.
Okay, so this is a tool of tools. So mathematics is itself a tool of data science, and this is a tool of the differential equations concept. This is not a concept. This is just a tool, and we know that this tool is useful many places. We'll see in later times, and then we will realize that okay, so I can use this formula everywhere and so you always keep in mind this one thing that mathematics is only formulas and concepts, right? So it is very abstract because I cannot physically explain you what is e to the power 80 means, right? I cannot physically explain you this. Whether this is what this is wind speed or this is some type of gravity constant or what I cannot explain you this, right? But I can, but this will be very much useful in solving equations. Okay, so that's why it is important. So there is no physical interpretation of e to the power 80. Right? So if you try to think in terms of data science, like where exactly I will use e to the power 80, you may not get a clue. But what is the thing is that when you will be solving a differential equation due to your machine learning problem, then you will find the terms where you need to simplify it to the 80. Then at that place, this formula will come to use. Got it, guys? Anybody else has any question?
Okay, yeah, we got this equation by assuming that A has independent eigenvectors. But what if it has dependent eigenvectors?
If it has dependent eigenvectors, then we cannot decompose this one. And then
So
in the higher classes, we will see what to do.
okay, sure.
Yeah, so see now until today whatever you are learning, there the matrix is square matrix. Okay, or it is matrix with independent eigenvectors. Okay, so all of you are learning whatever is with lot of assumptions, which may make you confused. You will think that, oh, every time there might not be a square matrix. Every time there may not be a matrix which has all independent eigenvectors. And what do I do? Okay, so what is the case is that for all rectangular matrix and all types of crooked matrix, there is solution present. Okay, but sorry, until unless you know the solution of the simple form, okay, you cannot learn the solution for the crooked form, right? So you see in physics, like let me say, right, in physics, the laws of motion of Newton is wrong actually, right? It is okay if you look at it and in a very low scale, but if I go to a very high scale, like in between planets and in between stars, the laws of gravity don't work there, right? Newton's laws of gravity. In that case, relativity comes into picture, right? Another question is, if relativity is the main concept which actually solves everything, why the hell do we need to learn Newton's laws of motion, right? That is the question. So now, but can you learn Einstein's relativity in a class 10 or 12 standard? You cannot. You will not understand a lot of things there. Okay. So many kinds of mathematical tools or mathematical concepts will be used there, which you are not aware about, right? So what you are aware about is something like force, equation, mass, acceleration, velocity. This type of things you are aware of. So with that much knowledge, what can you learn? You can learn Newton's laws of physics. But once you have mastered Newton's laws of physics and you are going to do your like MTech in physics, that time you are capable of learning the Einstein's relativity. Okay. So although Newton's laws of motion is very limited and only limited to certain small things only, but still it is has its importance because it is like a learning step. It's like a learning step. It gives you a base on which you can stand and then learn the other higher concepts. Similarly, here also treat these rectangular square matrices with all independent eigenvectors, the special cases as base for you. Okay, the base for you where you can stand and then you are ready to accept more complicated subjects. Okay, that is the plan. That is the way things are designed. Okay, everywhere it is the same thing, right? So many laws are wrong actually, which you read in school. But later on, we can learn the higher concepts only because we learned the lower concepts. Which may be wrong, but that doesn't matter because it made us capable to enough to learn the higher concepts. So here also we are making you what? We are making you capable enough to learn the more complicated concepts. Got it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you everybody has to keep some patience, right? So what I can give you any machine learning program to do like today itself I can give you. Okay. But point is that Pulkit will know better, right? So Pulkit tried to attempt. He could understand the theory, but then he could not do the math and the programming, right, Pulkit?
Yeah, I can, but maths is so tough, I think.
Yeah. So that is the situation, right? So because if you think that oh, what is machine learning? I have so many inputs. I have to just run it through a neural network. I have to balance the outputs, and after so many iterations, my neural network will be balanced, and I will get. So why do I need to read all these mathematics? Now, machine learning means what? You will get a problem to solve. First, what you will do? You are not that genius that you will develop it from scratch. Okay, so what you will do, you will go and look for research. Okay, research is in form of PDFs, only PDFs. Okay, where no program is given, only the math is given. Okay, so you have to first understand that math. If you are good enough to understand the math, then only you will be able to convert that math into a program. For that, you have to know TensorFlow. Okay, because without TensorFlow, you cannot code in machine learning. Okay, now for learning TensorFlow, understanding TensorFlow, you need to understand linear algebra. Okay, which you guys are now doing. Okay, so that's why I said this is not a technology like virtualization or cloud computing. Nah, this is not you where you can do your hands-on from day one. This is not the place. This is like an academic degree, right? This is like academic degree. So you have to first go step by step. First learn the mathematics, then you learn the TensorFlow library, then you go and solve the problems of machine learning in the world. Okay, so this is the best way to go. But you have to keep little patience. Okay, you have to keep little patience. Right? 4 years engineering, you kept patience, right? After 4 years of engineering, only you became an engineer, right? If you left in third year, nobody will call you engineer, right? So that is the how. That is how you have to keep 1 year, 1 year, 2 months like this. You have to keep the patience. Okay. Then only at the end of this time, people will tell you that you are a data scientist. But if you live in between and you to start jumping into programs of machine learning, then it is like that only. Okay, guys. Anybody else has any doubt? Okay, cool. Okay, let's jump to the next concept. Okay. Laplace transform.
This was just one question.
Yeah.
In real time scenario, right? How we will analyze like which concept or which theory we need to apply for solving any problems?
Yes, that one will come with practice. So when you are done with your maths, then we will be doing small projects in machine learning, right? So when you do small projects, first project, what you will do, you will be zero. You will have nothing in your mind. You will tell, I don't know anything. Then I will help you to solve that. And I help you to solve that, you will find out that, oh, okay, he used this concept because this was this. So the more you practice, the more efficient you become. So that's why machine learning is not it's a never-ending subject. Okay, every day, new neural networks are being taking birth. Every day, thousands of papers are published. Okay, so you have to always keep up to date. You have to keep reading those papers. You have to know the latest technology. So there is no foolproof solution that this is the certificate, you are data scientist, go, and then you can forget about data science. No, you have to continuously practice. So now you won't be able to do it. Okay, but when I give you 10-15 problems to solve in machine learning, then you will be able to understand it. Oh, this is the place where I use linear regression, or this is the place where I will say I will use my eigenvalue decomposition. Okay, so many places are there to use so many things, right? So these are the concepts, right? So this is you have to do it. So you have to know that whenever I have to simplify something, okay, maybe I will use eigenvalue decomposition. Whenever I have to optimize something, then I will use linear regression. Okay, so like this, your mind, these maps will be created. This is the problem, this is the approach. This is the problem, this is the approach. Okay, like this 10-15 approaches and problems will be set in your mind. Then what will happen that you will go to interview, then they will ask how you will solve this one. Then you have that map, right? You will tell, okay, this one is best solved by this. Okay, so that way it will happen. Got it, Arjun?
Yeah, Viswa, yeah, got it.
Okay. So now Laplace transform is another type of concept. I hate to do this actually, but I have to do this. This is another type of concept which has no geometrical intuition. Geometrical intuition means what? When I was teaching you Taylor expansion, I was giving you proper geometrical intuition. You could imagine the apple being sliced in your head, right? And that's why the formulas and equations made a lot of sense, right? And it is always helpful to have things with geometrical intuition. But unfortunately, sometimes the geometrical intuition of something becomes so complicated that it actually takes up a lot of time and energy from us than it should. Okay. So Laplace transform is a kind of like that. What I will do is I will share you some five YouTube links I will share you. Okay? If you need to understand the Laplace transform geometric intuition in depth, you can go through those videos. Okay. But in data science, we don't need that. Okay. We don't need that, and it will be an extra overkill. Okay. In data science, Laplace transform is just used as a tool, like we did with matrix exponential. Okay, it is just a tool. Okay, if anybody remembers in the engineering first year or something, you will recall that you have heard the name Laplace transform, but you might have forgot. You have heard. So Laplace transform helps us to solve differential equations. Okay. Now, how many of you remember about substitution method in integration and differentiation calculus? Pratik, Pulkit, you guys just passed out. You must remember, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so when you are doing an integration, you are substituting the variables, right, to make it easier, right? So that is the substitution method. So now if somebody asks you, what is the geometrical significance of this substitution? Will you be able to explain? No. You will tell that I know that if I substitute this with this, my integration will be solved very easily, quickly. But if somebody asks you how geometrically does it change, it will be very difficult for you to explain that. So Laplace transform is kind of like that. It is a tool to solve differential equations very easily. Okay, but how geometrically it is imagined is the difficult part. But I will not completely discourage you from not going into it. I have gone through it. So I will also give a fair chance. I'll give you all the video links. If you want, you can go through it. And your doubts, you can ask me. Okay. So I will tell you in very general terms. Okay. So, so we have the T domain. Okay. And we have formulas like this. Okay. E to the power lambda t. Okay. Then cos beta t. Okay. Then C1 into F1 t plus C2 into F2 t. Okay. So these are all what? These are all functions of t. Okay. We can also have a differential equation of the form like this. Right. Uh, dx by dt. Okay. We can also have a differential of this form. Okay. So all these are what? All these are functions of t. T means time. Normally t means time. Okay. But it can be any variable. It can be time. It is normally time, but it can be any variable. Now, if I ask you to solve this, like this equation, this So the question will be like this. Okay, I'll give you a sample question. The question will be like this: dx by dt minus x is equal to 2 sine t. Okay, and it is given that x of 0 is equal to 0. Okay, now it is asking us to find x of t. Okay, it's asking us to find x of t. Okay, you remember in the previous class I said the solution of a differential equation is a function, but the solution of an algebraic equation is a value, right? So this is a differential equation. This one is a differential equation, right? So the solution of this differential equation will always be a function. So that function is xt. Okay, we want to find that function. What is that function which when derived by x derived by t subtracted from x is equal to 2 times of sin t. Okay, we want to find that function. Now to solve this one, it is difficult to solve in direct method. Okay, it is difficult to solve in direct method. And what is the approach to solve this in direct method? We will do an integration of dx by dt minus x. Both sides you will apply integration to sin t. Okay, and then ultimately you will get xt, some value you will get. Okay, this is the general way of solving this. But sometimes what happens, these things becomes little complicated. Okay, these things becomes little complicated, and lot of the equation like expands very big in size. If anybody of you remember that in college days, that sometimes integration can go crazy, right? We'll be keep on expanding, and then we'll reach a term which has 50 terms, which will reach equation which has 50 terms. Then we do some mathematical mistake, and then we miss the answer, and we lose 5 or 10 marks. Right? So this normally happens with integration, right? So to solve equations like this, instead of going the generic way, we will take another approach. Another approach is the S domain. Okay. Now these all things can become very simple in the S domain. Like e to the power lambda t will become 1 by S minus lambda. Cos beta t will become S by S square plus b square, beta square. And this one will become individually we can apply the changes individually. Okay, and this one also I'll tell later. But as you can see, e to the power lambda t become 1 by S minus lambda. So this is definitely a very simple term as compared to this. Okay, so an easy way to remember this is you consider this t as a planet. Okay, this is a planet. Okay, it's a faraway planet, and this S is another planet. Okay, so in that planet, T planet, somehow e to the power lambda t cannot be simplified. In that planet T, somehow e to the power lambda t cannot be simplified because of some physical constraints. Okay, this maybe there is not enough oxygen, maybe there is not enough carbon dioxide, something is there, the temperature is not suitable. That is why the e to the power lambda t cannot be simplified. But we have a neighboring planet S where the climatic conditions and temperature and everything is perfect to simplify it e to the power lambda t. And we see that as soon as we bring e to the power lambda t into planet S, it becomes 1 by S minus lambda. Okay, which is a very simple term. Now then I can solve 1 by S minus lambda at planet S easily. Instead of solving e to the power lambda t at planet T, I can solve it 1 by S minus lambda at planet S. But whatever I solve it will be in planet S only, right? but we want its corresponding value in t, because ultimately we want to solve this and get a value in t. So what do? We inverse transform. Okay. So you transform and then inverse transform. So you got a solution. Say solution is say this one is a solution has. The solution will come here and become at the rate. Okay. So then what happens? E to the power lambda t's direct solution is at the rate. But since the planet T had so many constraints, its temperature was not good, its oxygen was not nice, we could not solve this e to the power lambda t is equal to at the rate directly. But what did we do instead? We took e to the power lambda t to a favorable planet, simplified it, solved it, and reverse transformed it to get the answer. Okay. So this is the main concept behind Laplace transform. So these transformations, transforming from T planet to S planet and back from S planet to T planet, are called the Laplace transforms. Okay. So this is Laplace transform and this is inverse Laplace transform. Okay. Laplace transform, inverse Laplace transform. Okay. So now you must already start expecting that there will be some standard formulas for these transformations. Yes, they are. Okay, there are some standard formulas. Laplace transform is given by the symbol L, like this. Laplace transform of 0, only 0 is 0. Laplace transform of e to the power lambda t is equal to, we already saw, 1 by s minus lambda. Similarly, the Laplace inverse of 1 by s minus lambda is equal to e to the power lambda t. Okay. So e to the lambda t's Laplace transform is 1 by s minus lambda. A 1 by s minus lambda's inverse Laplace transform is e to the power lambda t. Okay. Similarly, like there is lambda of Laplace transform of t to the power n, which is equal to n factorial by s to the power n plus 1. Okay. So now this one also inverse transform of n factorial by s to the power n plus 1 is equal to t to the power n. Okay. So as you can see, all types of functions, it is like integration and differentiation, right? You remember, so dx to the power n by dx, it was always equal to n into x to the power n minus 1, right? Like this was a formula, we remembered it. Although there is a big amount of mathematics behind it. Why is t to the power x to the power n differentiation is equal to n into x to the power n minus 1? There is a big maths behind it. But we never cared about that maths. We just remembered this. And we started applying this to solve our problems. Similarly, consider these are some formulas which you have to remember. So I will give you a sheet of Laplace transforms and inverse transforms. Okay. So that sheet will contain all the list of Laplace transforms and its inverse transforms. And we will see how it helps us to solve the equations. Okay. Now we'll see one small example to make us things clear, how it is being used exactly. Okay. Applying Laplace transform. Suppose the question is that dx by dt is equal to t, x of 0 is equal to 2. Oh, sorry, I didn't teach you this one. Okay. Okay, so remember, I will not go to the Laplace transform is still pending. Okay, so only the first part I have told. So what I have told, this is the Laplace transform of an apple. Okay, in planet T will become a banana in planet S. Again, the Laplace inverse transform of this banana in planet S will give us the apple in planet T. Okay, so this is what you have to remember. In planet T, I had apple. Somehow, it is very difficult to digest an apple in planet T. So what I did, I put Laplace transform and transformed it to a banana in planet S. Then I ate the banana nicely without any problem. And then in whatever the output, I did Laplace transform, inverse transform of it and got the apple back in planet T. So this is the concept. Transferring a equation from T domain to S domain and again from S domain to T domain back. Okay, and we saw some examples regarding that. Simple examples, the Laplace transform this apple is e to the power lambda t. Okay, and it becomes 1 by s minus lambda in the planet S. Again, this inverse transform of 1 by s minus lambda becomes e to the power lambda t. Okay, so this is what is the thing. So e to the lambda t was very difficult to be digested in planet T. I made it in planet S, 1 by s minus lambda, which is easy. I digested it, whatever remaining, I inverse transform it and got it back in the planet T. So ultimately, everything is happening in planet T. We are just going to planet S for some simplification and coming back. Okay. So how we are doing that? Using some standard formulas, which I will share with you. Laplace transformation sheet is available in the internet everywhere. If you just go and find Google Laplace transformation formula sheet, you will get all the formulas. Okay, it's like integration formula, differentiation formula. We never know why it is like that, right? But we just know, right? Similarly here, but here I will not say that here there is no particular reason. There is a reason how it happens, but we are omitting that for the sake of simplicity, for the sake of keeping our mind focused into the point where it is needed, not in other external things. Okay. So this is Laplace transform, which is not yet over. We have to go and see the Laplace transform of differential equations. Okay, like this form. Like we have to see like this one, L dx by dt. Okay, what is this? We have to know. And sometimes d square x by dt d square. This one also you have to know, right? So double differentiation, single differentiation. What are the Laplace transforms of this type of functions? We have to understand this. These are just functions. These are differentials, right? So what will be the Laplace transform of differentials? Once we understand that, then we will solve some problems and see how it happens. Okay. And I'm telling again and again, Laplace transform is just a magic tool to solve differential equations. Okay, so it has geometrical significance, which if you research more and more, you will get it, but it's not required. Okay, Laplace transform is just a magical tool, mathematical tool to solve differential equations. Okay, any questions?
Vishwa,
Hmm.
yeah, this Laplace transform of e to the power lambda t becomes
Hmm.
1 by s minus lambda, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So that is as per your chart you are going to
Yes,
share, right?
yes, yes.
We haven't proved it anyhow.
Now we can prove it. We can prove every function, but it will take a lot of time and it is not necessary.
Okay, so we are just directly like you can say
Yeah,
putting that
like
directly
you
on.
directly remember differentiation and integration formula, right?
Okay.
So
Yes.
similarly, you will remember this.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, like trigonometry formulas. So many formulas. Every formula you don't prove, right? You just know that is there, right? Sin square theta plus cos square theta is 1. You can prove it. If the proof is there in YouTube, the proof is there everywhere. But did we ever require that proof? No, we just use tan square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. Right? So that is the concept. So that is how it is. I will share you the YouTube links also. Whoever is interested can go ahead and learn about Laplace transform, the physical, the geometrical interpretation of it. But it is not required. But still, I will not discourage. The aptitude for mathematics is more than you can do it. Any questions? Anybody else? Okay, guys, let's meet tomorrow then.
Bye, Vishwa. Thank you.
Bye bye.